It is hour two, B94.9 WATV, where the V stands for vital on a Sunday night. I'm Lady Wu. The virtual crew is in, the crew in the studio is in, and we have our special guest in place and getting set up over there. I see Jennifer like right in the camera. Hey, Jen. They are in. So DMR, this is a topic that we've been doing for a minute, speaking to love, dating, mating, relating, couples, communication, all that type of thing. This is what we do, and we do it every third Sunday. They are unmuted. There you go. So they are unmuted, but they are ready. So this is going to be a great show because it's rare that we see black love in this way. And I have to say black love and young black love at that. So, first of all, before we go to our guest, just in studio, this is something.
Smoke behind y'all.
Y'all stay muted. This is something that a lot of people long for. They long for the group love to be able to kick it with, I want my friends to be your friends so we can all be friends. We can do this every weekend type thing. But it's rare that that happens. It's rare that you have friend groups who are truly friends and they can bring their partners and spouses in and they can be friends as well. Um, I've had the same quote unquote friend group for some years now, and I've had a couple of different people to audition for the role of the person that could stay in that space with my friends. Just got to be real. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, we like him. He was able to vibe with everybody. He could go, he could come. He wore the t-shirt we gave him. He was cool when you wasn't around. Then you might bring somebody else in. Nah, not so much. you know? So this group right here seems to have mastered those dynamics. So I want to shoot up to the top and chat with our group of love and marriage. We're gonna bring them. Yeah, there we go. Hey y'all.
Hey.
Welcome to the show. This is just so amazing. So first of all, congratulations to the Prides who have just celebrated 10 years. I was like, I know they got married. I thought that was a whole wedding.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. So 10 years married for the two of you, and you can't be no more than like a little bit over 30, right?
35.
So how has that been to have married 10 years ago, married rather young, blended families, come together and still together?
Well, it's been really good. I guess better than most expected. But we have just always made our love a priority. So it's just been a way that we just have always been able to control outsiders and just keeping our love the top tier of our lives.
Okay. And your friends get it because I mean, every time I see, well, not every time because I follow, we're all friends, but you all are part of each other's relationships in a way that doesn't overstep the bounds, right?
Right.
So very supportive and always on point. So how let's go to this group. I just wanted to get those congratulations in first. But to the friend group, how did this start? Who got married first?
So Risha got married first. Sequoia got married first. She's been married for 13 years.
We ain't that old. How are you doing this?
We're babies.
13 years married. So congratulations on that. And then who? 13 years, 10 years. Who else?
I'm 2 and we're 7.
7 years. So y'all at the itchy point. Like, you still like him?
Yes, hit it on the head.
So what's unique about this group? I know all of the girls, but the guys, what's unique about this friend group?
Well, for us, the guys, 3 out of the 4, we all went to high school together. 3 out of the 4. I'm the old
Okay.
one.
Okay. So you the old man. Okay, so you all are connected through high school, and then ironically, so are the ladies.
Right. Yes.
All right. So how did it go though to merge? Like, how did this happen? Was it like the big initial date? Was it a kick? What happened?
So Brian and I got married 10 years ago, and Algie was a groomsman, Jennifer's husband, and she was my bridesmaid. And for some reason, I felt it in my heart. I was like, I'm gonna pair these two together, and I did. It didn't work initially, but it happened in God's timing, and they came back together.
She jumped
And
like
they're
the
one.
year.
Yeah, she did jump in the deep. It went down in the deep end.
Okay. So that's how the connection started with the group. Okay. All right, so we just wanted to give a history to it. I got a comment. I love these beautiful couples. Congratulations and God's abundant blessings. So let's get vital with it. DMR is about the truth of it, getting to the real, to the nitty gritty. Courtney is all eager. So Courtney, go ahead.
Yes. So I do want to say absolutely congratulations. Like I love that you all are able to do this. So here's just one of my first questions. So what would it look like for a new couple to penetrate this group? Like let's just say one of you all, because I think what makes your situation seem so workable and pleasant right now is that so many of you already knew each other from like way back, right? So there's a lot of history there. But, you know, a lot of us, you know, we graduate high school, graduate college, like get out into the workforce, and we meet like these work friends, and we meet people in, you know, in life later on. So what would it look like for somebody to try to, you know, come be a part of this? Like, let's just say, Jennifer, you know, you work with somebody and she looks married. I mean, she's married and y'all going on y'all trip and she like wants to go. Like, how does that dynamic work?
Mm-hmm.
You asked me? Okay, so you're asking the nice friend. I'm the one like, hey, everybody, let's go. Like, I want everybody. And I'm thinking, like, I think just to speak, like me and Justin, we're actually kind of like the new couple that penetrated. I didn't go to high school with them, but my husband went to high school with two of the dudes, and so he's really good friends, brother type friends with Algie, and so me and Jen hit it off. And like Jen said, it's just like, hey, let's hang together, and it just came from that.
Yeah, but before that somebody else penetrated, we kind of like, we can help, you know what I'm saying, another couple, whatnot, but before it's penetrating the group, you know, you got bonds and you got certain level of security with your friends. Like, you may not open up to a total stranger like you would with friends. It's not that we just don't say, now no new friend, we just ain't gonna open up to somebody total stranger about our personal business XYZ with somebody that we don't really know.
And it has to be organic. Like, we all went on a couples trip a couple of weeks ago, and like Catherine said, she's new to the circle, so to speak, and it was really an organic feel, and we felt comfortable to open up about our personal lives and our personal marriages with her and her husband being around. Now, Jenny, Risha, and I, we have known each other for 20 years. And so at this point, it's like we know each other inside and out. But Catherine and her husband, it was just a good fit. It was really natural and organic. So we didn't have a issue, but we're just not like this group like, oh, if you want to come in, you have to audition. It's nothing like that. But
I'm like, come on in, guys.
yeah, she's like,
right.
come on in. We have the discernment here, me and Risha. We're just like, we don't know about that person.
Right,
But
we're
no,
okay with
it's
them.
nothing like that. We're not that interested for people to want to come in and see what we're doing.
Okay, so listen, I have one follow-up question to that really quickly. So you all have history. Let's talk about the people that don't, right? So and I would like to hear the male's perspective as well as some of the female's perspective. But what would you say for the people that are trying to form something like this? So for example, you know, Wu and I met a couple of years ago. I've met some great women through her. So let's just say that all of us decided at some point that, you know, we're married, right? And we want to try this. Like, what are the key things that need to be present for this kind of group to work if you don't have the history that you all have? What would you say to, you know, all the listeners out there? Like, hey, if you want a bond like this, a group like this, these are some essential things that should happen or that you need to kind of make this gel and work.
I would say being open-minded. You can't put yourself in the forefront. You have to be open-minded to somebody else's views and opinion for it to work. Because like all of us have different views of opinion. And we did our couples trip, we all had different views on certain stuff. And we was able to talk it out as adults with no arguments it was disagreements, but it was also agreements about the disagreements. So you have to be able to be open-minded.
It's got to be organic, like they said at first. You can't force a bond. It actually just has to happen, and it's like they said, it's got to be organic. I've known my wife for a long time, a super long time. And as far as her friends, once I met them, I didn't force myself upon them. It actually just happened. Along with Bernika's husband and then Al, and like I said, I just met Justin and Catherine. So once it all gelled and linked up, it wasn't forced or nothing like that. It just like it was God sent.
And that's the prayer that you pray, like, man, I'm about to take you around my fold. Lord, let this word. Don't let them break this. Right. So I get it. I was gonna say, like, okay, yeah, maybe like over some cocktails and some good food. Like that normally brings the magic up. But what I'm hearing is that it just has to be organic.
Yeah, and kind of what I'm picking up. Go ahead.
I think that's very true. However, I do agree that the women brought it together. Like we had to gel naturally first before we can say, hey, let's do something as couples together. And so I think from us coming together and spending time together and getting to know each other better, it was easy to be like, okay, hey, we can go on a couples trip with them. It'd be cool.
Because guys are really easy going.
Right.
If the ladies have the right energy, it's just gonna work. Like guys are like, just whatever y'all want, as long as y'all are happy, we cool.
Okay, cool. So Sir said, and then Mr. Ant.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree with the organic part, and really almost like, not that it has to be auditions, but there are layers to this.
Oh yeah.
From the standpoint of, yeah, you can come and meet us at this bar or meet us at this club. We're going out as a friend circle, friend group to go hang out. But like as far as somebody kick back at somebody's house, now you can't come over to the house because you ain't in the know like that. Because we party different. We talk different. That comfortability and that vulnerability that we have with each other, that you have to earn your way to that. That's not something that's just openly given. So in general or public venues, we can, chit chat and have some good camaraderie, but at the same time, you kind of already know, and I agree with them. Like fellas, we just be like,
talk about sports.
We can find commonalities to be able to chop it up and be able to get along and be able to socialize. We just worried about our females and like, Lord, I know she got a smart mouth. And I know so-and-so gonna say something, and I just hope it don't.
We don't like her. Don't bring her back no more. She was looking stank.
Exactly. We don't like your new girlfriend. You can't. You gotta find somebody else, like that kind of stuff.
Right. So certain groups get it from the beginning. Other groups have a hard time. But clearly, this one is one of the model groups because of the dynamics that Courtney spoke of. We can't hear you.
You gotta unmute.
Sorry.
There you go.
How y'all doing today? Good. So. Great. Y'all said that in unison like a choir.
See, y'all on the same chord.
So y'all would say that y'all know each other pretty well, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna need a little participation for that because I got a few questions. Okay.
Oh Lord.
Okay. So I want y'all to all point at the couple that's always late.
Definitely.
I'm pointing my husband.
Y'all won. If he late, you late. Y'all
right?
won.
Yeah.
But sometimes I drive myself, so
okay.
he just comes.
All right.
He was on time yesterday.
It's been doing so much better since the couples trip. So I must admit, everything has been so much better since the couples trip.
Okay, so which point at the couple y'all feel like y'all will be like, if y'all going somewhere and something happen, y'all feel like they're gonna be the first to pop off.
Mm-hmm.
That's everybody. Some come with that. So,
I understand. Okay,
But
so
the top person is going to be Bernика.
Renita.
Right.
Oh, Renita. She waved her hand. She
Me and Rashad always gonna talk. Brian and Richard be like,
I always say, me and Bernика have mixed. We got the wrong husband. Bernika and Rashad gonna pop off, and me and Brian gonna be over there like.
I be like, okay, we'll see y'all back at the time when y'all get through acting a fool.
That's the beauty of it. So for those of you who are listening through your radio, the visuals are just amazing. You have to be able to see it. So if you want to go back and watch later on, you can watch on Facebook, Vital Show, Lady Wu. You can watch on YouTube, Vital Show. You can watch You can watch You can watch in so many different places because we don't want you all to be left out of this. The visuals are just beautiful. And you got something else?
I got one more question. So I know y'all spend a lot of time together. So y'all like spend like holidays, birthdays. Is there like a person that like pretty much keeps everybody on track and say, okay, so-and-so birthday is coming up. Let's get out of it. So the same person that pop off is the same person that organizes everything.
She plans everything.
Okay.
She's our
Veronica's a planner.
She the mother of the group. She counts at everything.
Well, that's what's up. I love the camaraderie, just the whole behind y'all shit. Like, this is super dope just to see Black love displayed like this. So just salute to y'all. Just keep being open, listening to each other, being able to share different perspectives and just appreciate them. So I think this is dope.
So let's dig deeper. You got something?
No, that's it.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the next layer of conversation. So that was real cute.
Hey, I'm gonna get put on the hot
let's
seat
get
now.
real. I love to shout out what we do outside of our radio show. So you all are talking to 3 therapists. Like, we love this. This is what we do. Courtney and I are couples and family therapists, marriage and family therapists. Ed is a therapist. Like, this is what we do. So we like to know about the deeper stuff. And then our co-panelists, they do what they do in their own perspective, but they like kind of therapy too. So Eddie, what you got?
So, I wonder has there had to be any intentional conversations about maintaining boundaries? Like, I imagine that there's a period of regulating where you figure out, okay, is it okay to have this kind of conversation with such and such? How do we, how much is personal? You gotta understand, my only references to this kind of dynamic is Best Man.
Right.
And
things that, like, for real that we see in the movies, because essentially it's not real in Black community.
Yes, but all of these different stories with all these friends, they dramatize them for the sake of TV, but I just wonder, like, do y'all all have to have conversations about what's appropriate, or do each individual couple have to have pillow talk about what you're not going to talk about when we out here?
No.
How does that look?
To be honest, with our group, hey everybody, I'm sorry I'm late, but hey everybody. But with our group, that's what makes it so unique and so honest, is that whatever we bring to the table, everybody's coming in, 2 feet right into the pit of the fire, because it's not only a situation where everybody is helping one another, but we also learning from one another and learning those valuable lessons, whether they may be easy conversations, which we laugh and joke around all the time, but maybe a difficult conversation, it's going to strengthen everybody's marriage relationship all the way around. So.
And like, the root of me asking that question is because, like, especially in the Black community, we grew up with this idea that what happened in this house, stay in this house, and so it can be uncomfortable to be in a situation where you sometimes have to share or have to be vulnerable with people around you, just merely because y'all in proximity, not even because you want to, but sometimes it's hard to be around people that you're around every day, and when you're having a bad day, them not be able to recognize what that looked like.
Yeah.
So at some point, like, I imagine that you have to open up to each other and be like, hey, what's going on? How do we crowd around to support this person? How do we help uplift them when they in times of downward spiral? I'm just imagining that, is there any intentionality behind that? Is there like a learning curve when a new group get together in terms of how to manage some of that stuff?
I mean, I'll speak on an incident that actually, it happened on a couples retreat, and it actually kind of bonded all of us together on a deeper level. Jenny and Al's daughter got sick while we were on the trip. And, things were going a certain level, but sometimes reality will knock you on your behind, and then it brings everything back down to earth. And that's what I think at that point, we all kind of bonded on a esoteric level, because we all had to be there for Jenny and Al, because, they kid is hundreds of miles away. So that situation in itself, I mean, the depths of it right there, I think strengthened the core, more than anything, more than any conversation could have, because that was deeper than anything we could ever even imagine on that trip. We put ourselves, if each individual put ourselves in their shoes, we knew that the crew would be behind that individual. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's what groups, friend groups, and family groups are about. Like, we all become family, so all of these issues affect all of us. We all care about each other. We want to make sure that we're there for each other in that way. So that's so important. And thank you for sharing that. The envy of a lot of people is being able to say that they love their partner, they love their friends. You know, a lot of people want that. They hope for that. They wish for that. You know, and a lot of people have it and don't appreciate it. So I want you guys to speak to just your individual relationships and what has made you strong. Start with the ones that have been married the longest.
Well, I say early on, I mean, like I said, I've known my wife she's 35, I've known her 35 years. What made us stronger is early on in our relationship, she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, stage 3. And ironically and unfortunately, her dad passed from the same disease. So you had a lot of psychological issues going on with that. And I think in all that strengthened me and her bond more than anything. Because we had to fight through that together. Even though she was going through it, I had to kind of, be there on a whole nother level just to try to pull her through, because she was going through it way worse than I was. I couldn't even imagine, but I had to at least be that rock for her.
I agree. He took the story I was gonna tell. That definitely made us stronger. It was to the point where I honestly thought I was gonna die. So he was there the whole time, never missed a beat. I promise. I felt like I was like, oh my God, like I'm in a new marriage, a couple of years. I feel so ugly. Like, he's not gonna want me. He's not gonna want to see wife, but never missed a beat. So that definitely made us stronger.
That's a beautiful story, and we're glad to see you still up and thriving too.
Thank you.
Them prides next.
Like, what we gonna say?
Well,
You know that.
She said the men. So
I'm sorry. But what drove me? Well, what drives me and my wife's love for each other to escalate on a daily basis? It's just we bond together first as best friends. Like, she truly is my best friend. Like, I can't do anything without, whether it be running by my wife or we talk all day, this and that. It's truly like the best friend. Like, we've been knowing each other for 15 years. Tomorrow, actually 15 years. How about that? Oh, the first one, our first date.
Yeah.
And married 10 years. Wow. Hey, that's true love. But she don't.
Yes, you gotta remember the day.
Yeah. But we truly are best friends. And it's just like we can talk about anything, whether it be laughing, joking, and it's very serious conversations. It's a daily escalation of love that grows truly every day. It's like I can honestly, I don't know if I can say this about a lot of people, but I can honestly count on one hand, maybe half of my other hand, how many times we've actually got into an argument in the 15 years that we've been together. And that's crazy.
That's amazing. That's why a lot of stuff don't work.
It's a major argument where we either went flat off on each other. It's like
always petty
disagreement argument. And that's just how much that we love each other. Like, small things don't even matter. So.
Okay. We got 2 more guys to hear from. What makes your marriage unique and makes you stronger in your relationship?
I would say, I guess, as much as she get on my nerves, I love her anyway.
He real.
like for real. Like I feel like I ain't really chime in on other stuff, but I feel like just the fact that they've been friends 20-something years. I just got to a point where. Like Rashad said, we was on the trip and able to really share with each other on a deeper level. So, I feel fortunate to be, a part of the group. As far as me and my wife though, similar, she's definitely my best friend to a point of, I mean, we in moments like this, I'm surprised she had nudged me or we laughing at something or, because it's like.
You was about ready to. You didn't see a little head turn like that.
But
You just not in reach.
at the same time, you have to. I think the biggest thing anybody listening or watching could digest is every couple is different. Every person is different. If you ever do any kind of personality assessments, you have different personality types, and so some people they're just not really that kind of personality where you're gonna get into it like that for real anyway. And so you take that and pack on just the love. Oh my God, you got something, quite amazing. And that's what I kind of gleaned from, Brian and Bernica. The same with Rashad and Risha. Like, I don't know how you don't get along with Rashad anyway. Like, if you can't get along with Rashad, something wrong with you.
Rashad is like the T of the bunch, Courtney.
Hey,
that's an inside, but he reminds me of T.
But I feel like, for me, it just kind of helped me and my wife's relationship to a point of, if we can be, we gonna be hot and spicy all day long. Because I feel like people will look at on the surface and feel like, oh man, I really want that. But you didn't consider the work that it took to get that. And if you didn't consider that, you can't really say you want it. So, me and her, we got into it this morning. Sure. But I feel like the best thing about that is it only lasted for a short time because we put the work in to say, that's my dude though, and I feel like it's those types of moments that make the relationship, because I'm not gonna get on here and just be, oh my God. We're not gonna do that.
And talking about putting the work in, that's important. And we'll come back to that after LG, but just speaking about putting the work in and how important that is and what that truly means. So take it away.
Oh, okay. For us being Jennifer, we, 2 years in. And I think for our relationship was strictly our relationship was the trip. And as I said, the incident he brought up, they had with our baby, that was real. That was a serious moment. And this bunch right here tried to convince me not to leave Tennessee to go get my baby who was in the hospital. And I told them next morning I would have rode a bike from Tennessee if I had to get my baby. It timed it, but they say it's one bike. But like I said, that incident alone was one that strengthened me and my wife. We sat down, we talked, and then the trip alone, we talked about her views, my views, and we listened and learned each other more. So we had issues at home before we got to the trip that we talked about, and then we came back home. Okay, we reverted back to the trip. Like we had a car ride with Catherine and Justin. And I said something on the phone. Remember what Justin said? And I was like, you know what? You're right. Accountability. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was nothing bad. The trip really gave us a lot of tools to build and make us stronger.
When it's an argument coming along, we kind of like stop and be like, hey, it's not that serious. It's like petty stuff. And it's like, hey, I've been catching myself. I have been apologizing a lot this week because I'm so petty. So every 5 minutes I'm sending back a text like, you know what, baby, I'm sorry. I love you so much. Have a good day. Like, let me not mess up your day being petty, but the trip has really helped us out tremendously. So
ladies, speaking about the trips and the different things that you do socially, and one of your husbands just talked about tools or skills and like you all actually putting the work in to make your marriages work. Some of you've been married before. You all have been in other relationships. You've had previous experiences with other people. How much work were you willing to put into a marriage? Like, what kind of work do you go into a new relationship being willing to put in? And let me preface it with this. If I'm going into something new, I've already put my work in. So why do I need to come into a marriage or a relationship expecting to work really, really hard? Why, like, how much work am I putting in?
You know what I'm saying? That's a good question. I think that
full-time, part-time.
Full-time. It's definitely full-time.
It's half. It's
right.
part-time.
It's like, I think the main thing is you have to die to yourself. Like you can't keep score, you can't keep count. And I think for me, that was one of the hardest things to do. Growing up, just, being the only sibling with my mom, I didn't have to worry about anybody else but myself. And so coming into a marriage, and it's just like considering his thoughts, considering what he may like, considering what he may want to do. And then we threw in 3 kids in 7 years. So it's just like, well, I have to make sure that I just know that for myself that, okay, I have to consider him on everything, on every level. And I think going on the trip that we went on, like you said, we went, I had in my mind, it was going to be like, why did I get married? So, I was like, what's going to happen, okay? So who going to be Tasha? What is going to go on? I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage. So she's definitely Tasha. No. So we went to going up there. It was such a breath of fresh air just to see other perspectives, and not only that, like when you become comfortable with someone, like you become comfortable with your spouse, it's hard for you to listen or understand them. So a lot of times your spouse, you know that person inside and out. So them telling me something or him telling me you shouldn't do this or that's not good, I'm like, whatever. So, but hearing it and understanding it from another perspective, it was just like, okay, Catherine, you need to chill out. And so I think that that's healthy to have that group. And so that was the main thing for me. And
I like that.
So I came into the relationship with 3 children. I wasn't married to my children's father, but just from a standpoint of being in, I guess, a long-term relationship, so to speak, because I have 3 kids by one person. When Brian and I met, he was very young. I was also young. But he stepped right in, and it was just something like he was born to do and born to be the person that they needed in their lives. And not to take credit from their dad, but it was like he helped me get those kids here for Brian and I to share them. But he's always been that person that has just been there consistently, never wavered. He's always just been our rock, my rock, and also my kids' rock. Like he's been that one person they can always go to and depend on, no matter what time of day it is or what it is. He's just always been there. And I've seen him give his absolute last when he didn't have to, before we were engaged or married. He would make sure they were satisfied and just make sure I was always smiling. And he still does that even 15 years later. So I would just say, just always being consistent and always persistent and always putting each other above ourselves. Because anytime I do something or if I get some good news, he's always the first person. I always pick up my phone and call, and shortly thereafter, I'll text my friends and let them know too. But anytime something is happening in my life, he's always the one person that I always want to know everything. Like he knows all of my flaws, and he does not make me be ashamed of who I am deep down inside. Even the ugly part of me, he still loves it. And that's what makes me so happy to be with him every single day.
Yes, girl.
Okay. Okay.
She's trying to make us pull out the camera.
I love him so much.
Amen. Look,
Yeah,
our listeners are probably like, I wish I could see them. So, like, if you guys, if you want to see them, like I said, you can go and view them later on social media. I'll post some snapshots as well. But this friend group, this couple group, is an amazing, beautiful group of young people that have devoted themselves to each other and into their maker and then to their love. So it's just a great example of DMR for us to be able to share with you, our vital listening audience. So I know we have another lady to hear from, or two more ladies to hear from about the question that I asked. I don't even remember what the question was. That was just so so moving.
The question was like, how do you blend families and just your lives?
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, my story is pretty much similar to Renika's story. I was married before and I was divorced. I was divorced. And so I had 3 kids 3 years from that marriage. And of course, Algie didn't have any kids. So he took in my 3 kids as well. And we have a daughter, Alexa, together. At first it was hard to blend families together, especially kids, and especially when their dad is an active dad as well. So at first it was really cool. Okay, stand up. But
tell your story.
I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. So it was hard to blend everybody in at first, but now we have a good relationship. The kids have a great relationship. My husband, of course, he's so amazing with my kids and with everybody. With me, he's just an awesome guy. He takes care of us, and
you know how we do.
Well, myself, I didn't have any kids, but my husband did when we first got together. So it was definitely tough for us, for me from the beginning, because to be honest, I was like, I can't talk to him. He got kids. I mean, I didn't have no kids, so I was like, you can't do that. Like, don't do that. So we went out on a date. I was hungry one day, y'all. So I let him take me out to eat. And like,
Shots out to Green Days, no Birmingham.
Oh, that was the date. Okay, go ahead, Risha.
Anyway, we started talking, and he had kids, and I didn't. We ended up, getting married. I ended up getting pregnant the next month. Had one child, then right after that, 2 months later, had another one. No, 2 days later. 2 days later.
Wow.
Whatever. He had his son, his mom was killed or whatever. So he ended up living with us, which has turned out to be awesome. Therese, he's an awesome child. Rashard is, I used to think he was just too tough, but he is molding him into an awesome man. He could be out here doing anything on the streets. And as far as, I just think you need, like, if you're blending kids, that it needs to be structured, like younger kids, because when you're trying to move someone in that's older or, that doesn't have that structure, it may not work out as well as ones that do have structure. So, I don't know.
And I will say, to piggyback off of what she's saying, what Jen said, my kids were 5, 2, and 8 months when Brian and I started dating. So they were very young. So it was like an easy transition. We didn't have to explain hey, he's going to be in our lives now, and this is what it is. It was just it was really organic, and he just fit in, and he was there every day. Even my youngest daughter, who was 8 months at the time when we started dating, she took her first steps to him. So that's just something that we always smile about. And I'm like, that's his girl, because they have a bond that's so tight, it just can't be broken by anybody. They love each other, they're each other's person for real.
I just think if it's younger, it's good, but when they get older,
it's kind of difficult.
And family,
because they have opinions,
right?
Right. And they know what it is. So then you think about like the family dynamic. So the friend group is great, the children are great, but then families. How important is it to have families that are in your corner when you enter in such serious relationships like marriage?
It's definitely important because you need those people to lean on. I mean, when you are going through something.
They're your foundation, in my opinion.
Not only do you need them to lean on when you get out of line, you need them to say, hey man, you need to get that together.
We are not the amen friends. Let me just say that. because-
They are not the amen friends.
We gonna let you know.
But that's what makes a real friend a real friend. I mean, everybody you can go on Facebook and put a post up and have a million yes men, but
Right.
you can't have a group of friends. I mean, it's rare. Well, it's not rare, but it's a good thing to have a group of friends where you can say, "Hey, this was going on," or "What you think about this?" And you may get 8. How many of us? My mouth is. But you're gonna get a serious opinion from each person. It may be the same, may be different, but you're gonna get the real deal. And you rather get the real deal than somebody that's gonna say something and your habits keep going or whatever keep going like nothing going on.
So I'll be honest, Risha is the person that will correct anybody in a heartbeat, whether you're wrong, right, or if she's indifferent about the situation. Like
they love me.
Not really, but she'll
I say what everybody else is thinking.
she'll correct me. She'll correct me, and I might not even receive it at the time. But whenever I'm not ever above it being corrected. So if ever she corrects me, or whenever, because she does quite often, I might not receive it in that moment, but I'll come back later and think to myself, you know what, she's right, and then I'll go back and retract myself steps if need be. But and I do love her for that, honestly, because a lot of people won't correct you, and I will admit I may be one of those people who won't, and that's just because I don't really like. They believe I like confrontation, but honestly, I really don't. And if I can avoid it, I will. But I love her for being able to correct me, and I love any of my friends. If they feel like they want to tell me something, I might not receive it at the time, but later I'll think about it. And if I feel like, you know what, they're right, I'll come back and say, you was right. So I don't have a problem with telling my friends when they're right.
That's the friends, but thinking about the family. So like the sisters.
Oh, you mean
the
like families
the
like our
mama.
actual biological
Yeah.
family?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little different then.
All right. Tell us about that.
So you want to hear that from me?
Maybe not, Renika.
Huh?
Look, maybe not. I don't know. Should we hear?
No. I'm asking. I'm really asking.
So just any of you.
So, like I said, when Brian and I got together, we both were really young. He was 18, I was 20. I had 3 children. And when we came together, his family didn't necessarily know about the kids early on, but they shortly found out after. We probably have been dating maybe about 2 or 3 months, and they found out about the kids. But they didn't find out from him or me. They found out from somebody else, which we were still trying to figure out, if this is even worth mentioning to anybody else. We were still learning each other at that time. So it wasn't a conversation that needed to be had with his parents. So I feel like that kind of got us into a rocky start, because he wasn't the person that was able to convey that to his family, and it was told from somebody else who's not even in their family. But it was tough, just being able, for him especially, but I'll let you speak for yourself, but for me to know Brian, he's like a family man. He loves his parents, he loves his whole family, he loves everybody. So if you know Brian, he loves everybody, literally. But I'll let you speak. No, I was just saying, like, it wasn't easy. It took some work, and it's taken some years to get to a point where we can actually have a conversation about it, because Brian, he's in a conversation, a confrontation avoider. So he does not like confrontation whatsoever. He wants everybody to be happy. And sometimes I like to bring up stuff, old stuff. Like if it still bothers me in my spirit and in my heart, I'll bring it up. And he's like, babe, just let that go. Like it's not like that anymore. But I will say I nag in that way, if you want to call it nagging. But I don't know what the proper term is. When you still kind of deep down inside,
readdressing your feelings.
Yeah, like if you still heard about something, even if it was years ago, you still kind of talk about it when certain things come up. But it's all love now. Like I said, we've been together for 15 years and married for 10 now, and it's just something that you have to navigate through. But as far as my family, of course, they love Brian because they've seen somebody come into my life to basically rescue my heart and be there for my children. So it's almost like he is my saving grace. And like yesterday in my vows, I did tell him that I feel like that was when he came into my life, that's when I found out how much Jesus actually loves me. Is from sending him to me.
Lord.
All right then.
Lord.
Courtney, Eddie, Sir said, and what you got?
You put down the shirt.
I guess for me, I guess one of my questions would be, who is the nucleus of the group that has drawn everybody in and always make sure everybody stays connected?
Yeah.
For that.
I say yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Look, she knows it's And you know, like typically, you know who that person is in your groups, like depending on the group. And I think that's kind of what Courtney was alluding to earlier. Like, yeah, so there's this group, and I'm cool with them now but then like what happens when somebody else or like when one of them calls the nucleus and they leave you out? Like if two couples decide to go do something and the other two don't get invited, like do y'all get mad? Like they were my friend first.
I mean, say that again. I'm trying to say that again. Run that question.
Okay, say that one more time.
Y'all know what I said.
So like,
seriously, I kind of missed out on what you were saying. I really did.
What she said was,
there we go.
Two couples do something and leave somebody else out. Doesn't mess up the nucleus of the group.
Well, kind of.
I can say, in my opinion, it wouldn't, because if it wasn't for us to be there, it wasn't for us to be there.
But I don't think we ever really do that.
No, I will say me personally, like if we're doing something, well, Risha lately, she's like, we need to run this by such and such. Yeah. Because I've been on this whole little vibe this year, like if it don't fit, it don't fit.
Right.
Okay.
And so if it's meant for that person to be there, like Algie did just say, it's meant for them to be there. But I've always been a person to consider everybody and consider me last. But this year, especially like during the pandemic, I just had some self-reflection. And I said, you know what? You need to make yourself truly happy. And if that's like peace, being around with the people that you're around in that moment, then that's that. But like Risha here lately, she's been like, we need to make sure this person is there. I don't have to call her and make sure she know. And I'll be like, I don't care. Like, cause that's just the vibe I've been on.
I want people to get in their feelings, so, cause I love everybody. But she kind of
But if we're a group, we're always a group, right? Like
now what they're saying is not pertaining to this group.
Yeah.
Okay. This group understands. We always throw it together.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a daily check-in. Hey, good morning. What y'all doing? All day, really.
Oh, so this is serious. Okay, Courtney, what you got?
Okay, so
all the time. It's kind of insane. Yeah.
And people think we have like 15 kids upstairs being quiet right now. We're all here.
Because like we're all blended, and basically we're more than friends. It's like family.
We're like family. So the friendship is out the window. These like my sisters and brothers. And we got like what 4 more events planned for the rest of the year.
So I first want to say that I'm impressed that y'all have 15 kids upstairs. It's quiet because I don't know if y'all saw my kid riding around on her hoverboard. And I just can't keep it contained. But I think so. Brian mentioned something, and this was several minutes ago, and I just wanted to point out that so hearing you all and watching you all is like. It's an amazing blueprint, right? But I did hear Brian mention that, him and his wife, y'all don't argue a lot. Like you can mention on, you can think about on how many fingers, how many times y'all have argued. And I just want to say though, and I think somebody else mentioned that every couple is different. So everybody, it is not the same in that capacity. But I do just want to put out there for our listeners that there is healthy arguments, right? Or there is healthy debate. So there may be a couple out there that that are both strongly opinionated, right? And so, you see them interacting and you're like, dang, they go at it all the time. Like, I don't even know how they operate, how they live in the same house, going back and forth like that. So, but for that couple, it may be that's how they operate, right? So they debate, they both are strongly opinionated, but they can do that in such a way that is healthy. So just because we to the outside looking in, we argue, or just because, it looks like we're always at odds, if we do that, but our relationship is moving forward and it's in a healthy manner, then that's okay. So again, like I said, we have just praised on how you all are such a blueprint, and you are. I think what y'all have is absolutely amazing. But I did just want to put that out there that, and as somebody did mention, all relationships, they absolutely look different. So if you are the couple that, y'all go back and forth, but it works, just know that that's healthy as well, as long as it works and you're working through it. So when I say that, I am interested to know, for those of you, the couple that do have difficult moments and you have had the hardships, and not the, I know we talked about the illness that you had, but when you've had moments where it's been tense, like you're thinking, yeah, I don't really know if this is what I signed up for. What has worked for you all to work through that moment? And something, if you can give me something like more tangible, because I know obviously we know if you love one another, like that works. But what are the intentional things that you've had to do to work through those challenging moments where it's been pretty tense? And this question could be for anybody. Oh, she's not returning around. Okay.
I answer that question. Well, for me, I can speak for myself. When I get into it with my wife and we go back and forth, I look back on, like Jesse said, the work that we put in for a relationship. And I'm one person who I hate double work. I hate to do something twice. So my thing is get it right the first time. So if we get into an argument, okay, well, all right, we may, all right, let's try to hash it out and come together and get this straight, because I ain't trying to do this twice. That's just me. I can't speak for nobody else.
So you say you want to have that argument one time and never argue about that?
I mean, not necessarily. I'm just saying, people can't, like he said, this is what I signed up for. So if I get into an argument, I don't want the argument to push me to well, I don't want to do this no more.
Right.
I would have talked about.
That's why I said we never had that type of argument that we were like, let's talk to each other.
I mean, we have. I mean, it ain't always been peace and cream.
And we're
13 years, like it's been to the point where I'm like, this ain't it, right? Like this finna be over with. I don't like him. Like my friends know, I'll be like, I'll look at him, he be like, you still love me? I'll be like, I don't like you though. I mean, because it gets to that point. It's not always peaches and cream. So,
and I will say, Brian and I, we don't argue, but we do have disagreements. But he's not argumentative. I am, but you can't argue by yourself. So that kind of like delete.
And that's our problem.
I learned a long time ago. It takes two people to argue.
Yeah, and so finally, like, years of being together, I kind of know, like, we're not going to argue. I might say what I got to say, and he might say what he has to say, but it's never like knock down, drag out. But we do disagree. It's not like, oh, we just on the same accord. We're just so happy-go-lucky, which we are. But,
what happens is,
you gotta keep it real.
She pop out, and Brian just be like, okay.
No, that's not true. Like seriously, he's is just not confrontational, and it has kind of blessed me in a way to stop being so confrontational because he just brings out the good part.
That fight.
And he's making me like I look at him all the time. I'll be like, I want to be more like you. Like I look up to him because I have been like argumentative and I want to like argue with whoever's listening or whoever want to argue back. But he's kind of like made me kind of like level out and kind of delete all of that kind of energy. But
I guess I was blessed with it take a lot to get me rattled or upset.
I'm still waiting on the day that it happens. Like I'm just like
we're just like it just takes too much. Me and my husband, we both pop off, and I'm like, I'm getting the last word.
And see, so that's the thing. So here we have about 2 more minutes, and I want to give Eddie and Ant time to ask their question before we jump off the air. So Eddie, what you got? Then Ant, I'm gonna let you close us out.
All right, asking as a resident therapist and piggybacking off of Courtney's question, but a little bit more direct. How many of y'all are actively in counseling, have been in counseling before, or are willing to go to counseling in the future if you need to?
That was gonna be my last question. Thanks, Eddie.
We have never been to counseling. But I'm wanting to. I'm really wanting to.
I'm definitely open to counseling. Any help can help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not all perfect. I love my husband, but I think counseling can help
anybody. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I say, like, my idea is to identify a counselor that you like, just for ideas of how to refresh your relationship.
Right.
And I kind of feel like the trip we just went on, it wasn't a counselor there, but I feel like the trip we went on was kind of like counseling too.
Because the conversations that were had were like crazy. Like I think even me and my wife, our marriage to me is perfect. But I left the cabins feeling like I was more empowered in our wedding. Like our marriage was stronger. And it was, I think the consensus amongst the group was, dang, it's time to go home already because like we got into some deep stuff. Now we turned up and had a lot of fun, like I saw on Facebook or what have you. But at the same time, we got into some real deep stuff.
And I think that's what counseling really helps. Like we have to go all the way deep, like from childhood.
Like everybody just strip down naked and just be vulnerable with each other.
So guys, before we continue on social media, I want to go listening online know that we will continue the conversation online, but on the air, we're going to chat with you guys next Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. right here on B94.9. You can catch me every day right here on the radio, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. One more question will be asked online. Y'all have a great night. And Ant, take it away.
So right here at Vital, we're very COVID woke. So I want to know, how has COVID been affecting your direct friend group? Have y'all all like go get tested together for COVID? Have y'all even went and got tested? Y'all got quiet. Like, look at those faces.
I've been tested 3 times.
Yeah, so I heard one person here, but what y'all been doing?
I've been tested once, but I think because we just be around each other so much.
We just be around each other. We don't go out or just much.
But they did see the party yesterday.
Right.
We were social distancing. We passed out, man.
Okay, all right then.
And sanitizer and favors at our anniversary party. It was a relatively small group of people there. It may have seemed like it was a lot of people, but it really wasn't. But as far as this group here, honestly, since March until probably about really the beginning of May, I didn't even get to see my friends, which broke my heart because we're always together at least once a week or maybe once or twice every 2 weeks. So, but after a time, we just had to be like, look, I got to see my friends, I got to see my family, and that's just what keep us sane.
Right.
So, but it's been tough to not do the certain things that we would typically do.
Right. Well, that's what's up there. How do y'all feel about, and this is just I'm going to throw this little shameless plug. How do y'all feel about vaccine research for COVID-19? Would y'all be something y'all would be willing to participate?
And research
Vaccine.
Like somebody-
COVID-19.
Oh, no, they can keep all that.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing. Flu vaccine ain't been perfected yet, but don't take this as I don't believe it can happen. Of course, I work in the hospital. Everybody knows I still work in the hospital, so I believe and I don't believe, but I pray that one day that we can get a vaccine sooner than later that can actually eliminate a lot of heartbreak that a lot of families are going through, because it not only affects you the day of or when you have it, but it's affecting people later on down the line, which that trickle down. If you got mom and daddy sick, then you got the kids got to deal with that. Kids got to deal with grandparents. So it's a trickle down effect that hopefully we can find something soon.
Right.
But right now,
But I would eventually get the vaccine, you know, after I've seen multiple success stories behind the vaccine. I want to be one of the first ones.
I understand. Well, y'all definitely like that's what I do here I'm the vaccine person here. So we definitely have the least amount of research on Black people and for vaccine research period. So I definitely understand y'all's precautions. So I'm nervous myself, and I work with it, so I completely understand. But I definitely appreciate y'all's questions today and everything I had to say. Like, I'm trying to see if I can join the group. Who I got to apply to?
Everybody asked that. Listen, we're not that interested.
Y'all interested.
We actually have a Facebook group online on Facebook. So for all the wives, they can join our group. It's called Mrs. on a Mission. And we encourage wives daily to do different things for their husbands, to uplift them, to encourage them.
And also we're having like the conversations that may be a little taboo, because like, especially in the Black community, like you don't want to tell nobody about your husband, because like a lot of people be like, you better not tell her that about your husband, because she might try to come get him.
Right.
So it's like you gotta be having open dialogue with other wives, because it helps you navigate through your married life. So I think it's important to have that group of friends that can relate to your everyday struggles as a wife.
That's cool.
Well, you guys, thank you all so much for your time tonight and for being so open with our listening and viewing audience. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We'll chat again after the holidays to check in with y'all and see what's new.
We appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right.
Y'all better-
Bye.